everyone. I am Roswell Royce Laurie. I'm the creator of one of the world's coolest dance Facebook. Cool folks who love to bachata. 3 years ago, when I lived in Texas, I wanted to create a unique dance platform for 2,800 of the world's fabulous dancers. I came up with some scenarios. Scenario number one, cool men who love to bachata. What about the women? Okay. Scenario number two, cool women who love the bachata. Now it sounds kind of biased. Cool people who love the bachata. Ah, too plain. Hey, cool folks who love to bachata. Yeah. 3 years now, cool folks who love the bachata has been in the top 5% of the Facebook social media ratings for favorite dance media webpage. Thank you, Facebook, for continuing to have us for 3 years, going on to 4 years. Thank you. Um, I wanted to do something a little different this year, right? Instead of like you guys just posting your stuff and I liking it, I'm loving it and whatever, how about you guys go live with me to tell the world a little bit about you and your event and other stuff you would like to share? This is your opportunity to shine to the world, make yourself more known. All right. I just want to say, first of all, these interviews are not mandatory, it's optional. You're still more than welcome to continue doing what you do, share your postings, have your events. But if you do wish to, go live with me, it's you're more than welcome. We've been doing this since the beginning of this year, and it's been very successful. Summer interviews kicked off last week with Timothy Courier from Chicago. Timothy did a wonderful job opening the summer edition of Live with Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata. Thank you, Timothy. Um, Next week, we have a line of guests, okay? George Sharim, Tina Cross, Allison Liu, Brandy Brenner, Ellen Gates, Ricky Jenkins, and my boy Calvin are going to be with us scheduled. Okay, so I look forward to that. Just a quick couple announcements. Forgive me, guys. I'm dying. My chapstick on my lips is melting here. I'm in a room and the light is like right above my head, and my jerry curls are melting, and so I could barely talk. But forgive me. But I just want to say quickly before we bring my fabulous friend on, Amaya, which I'm grateful that he's going to join us. I just want to say real quickly, Lee, thank you. If you're listening, Lee has offered Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata. Everyone who mentions Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata, I have a discount code for you to come to his event in August. Thank you, Lee, for offering the discounts to our members. I appreciate it. My good friends, Central Movement, where they're going to have their weekend there in August, the first weekend in August. I'm here in New York. I can't miss that. So if you guys are in New York, come on down. Jonathan Amaya, my good friend in New Jersey, is also having his weekender event in New Jersey. My good friend Wendy and Rodrigo are having their event that same weekend down in North Carolina. And also, I'm thinking about, most likely I'm going to go down to Arkansas for the first time. Melody and Miguel are going to have the Rasa event in August. So I'm looking forward to that. Denver Bachata Festival is also coming up. There's lots of stuff going on in August, so I hope to see you guys for at least one of those events. Okay. Um, okay. So let me bring on Mr. Amaya on. I'm proud that he's going to be here. I know he's super busy. He has an event coming up this weekend in Atlanta, and this guy is, I'm grateful for him to be doing this with me, because he has more important stuff to do than I do. So Ed, I'm going to bring you on, bro. Okay. Um, Hello.
What's going on, Russell? How are you doing?
I am good. I'm just sweating, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I'll try not to swallow my sweat. It's like the sweat. My jerry curls are going here and there. No.
It's 111 degrees in Arizona, so So the heat isn't anything unfamiliar for us over here.
Ed, I want to ask you a quick question. First of all, I want to say we were talking about this 2 seconds ago. The flag behind you, right? Is that help? Is that which country? Is that Venezuela, Mexico? The one with the green and the yeah,
That one, right? That's the Mexican flag.
beautiful. Okay.
And that's the Honduran
Okay.
flag right here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
And the
Gotcha.
one in the middle, that's the Arizona flag. And the one right behind it, on top, that's the Garifuna flag. That's the tribe that my dad's from Honduras. Well, it's really from the Caribbean, but they moved.
Okay. Okay. That's wonderful. I studied sociology when I was doing my master's, and cultures is something I was always fascinated with. Um, I'm not Hispanic. I'm from the West Indies. My family is from Guyana, and so I'm technically half Brazilian, half West Indies, but I only speak English because I was born in New Jersey. But I've always been fascinated with various cultures and ethnicity and stuff. So whenever I see a beautiful flag, even if it's not beautiful, I just jump on it right away. So thank you for having that as your background. My background is, just tile.
Tile.
Tell us a little bit about you, please.
And I'm from Houston, Texas. That's where I was born in Texas. I moved to 2015. But I come from a Latino household. My mom's from the Caribbean part of Mexico, Veracruz. So my mom, we look just like she's a mulata, and which means I'm just more of mulatto than my mom. But yeah, dancing. I grew up playing sports. Sports was really the main thing that I did. And then went to school, came out to Arizona just to work. I relocated over here. And then I want to say like 5 years into, maybe like 2 or 3 years into being here, I started dancing and then started taking it serious. 2020, I opened the school whenever the pandemic hit. Um, uh, a business partner of mine and myself, we bought a studio, and that's where all started. And Canela was born March of 2021, and we've been rocking ever since. And I dance. I love to dance everything, especially salsa, bachata, but really the Afro Latino rhythms, and bachata is really what helped me take off a little bit more. But I love dancing everything, Roswell. I just love dancing. I love music. Honestly, love listening to live music. You know, more than anything. So I like to appreciate the musicians and what they do in their craft. So it gets you going.
Appreciation is definitely a plus here, and 21, and I mean, Ed, one of the main reasons I created this Bachata platform is so everyone can appreciate each other, right? So everyone can unite as one big family, especially like during the COVID and stuff, that was my dream. So, my dad always wanted me to do something that's unconditional, right? When I was young, he was the type of person like he worked, work, work, work every day. I really didn't like get to hang out with him, talk to him, stuff. But he always told me, try to pull yourself back from work. 9 to 5, 9 to 6, you got to work. Try to spend some time with your family. If you have kids, he said me, he said, son, if you ever have kids or a family or a wife, take that time with them because it's not going to happen again. So he always said, do something unconditionally. During the days you have to work and whatever, make money, but try not to mix stuff up, right? So he wanted me to do something that everyone can appreciate, not only me, but just everyone in general. So that's one of the many reasons I created this Cool Folks platform, so everyone can appreciate each other, learn from each other, have respect, and unite. Unite as one big family.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes. Um, Ed, I want to, before you go into like some of your events that are coming up, I wanted to ask you just some quick questions here, if it's okay with you.
Of course.
You probably know kind of like what I'm going to ask you. 'Cause I've been asking everyone else this, but When it comes to support, right? So let's say, for example, I don't know, it's a Saturday night, right, in a big city. It can be New York, it could be Miami, it could be, whatever, Paris or whatever, right? My five amigos, right? You got John, Peter, Mary, Sue, Ellen, whoever. They're big shots. Everyone knows them, and they're also good friends, and they all live within 5 miles of a radius, right? So they decide to have each one of those people have their own events on the same night. So people like maybe you or I or friends or whatever, then we have to decide, should we go here? Oh, no. Or should we go this one? Or maybe we go here, hang out for 2 minutes, but then go to this event, hang out for half an hour, but then again go back to, back and forth, back and forth. And before you know it, at the end of the night, these five people, they really didn't have not accumulated much or much revenue and, all that money's invested and all that time and stuff. But then again, they do it again the following weekend. So well, I guess what I'm trying to ask, it's just a question I ask everyone. It's not a right or wrong answer, but I'm just curious because number one, I mean, I'm not an organizer, as everyone knows. I'm not a dancer. I just, pretend to be one. But I see stuff and I observe stuff. So I'm just trying to get the perspective of everyone that goes live with me now that the COVID stuff is kind of over and everyone is like back up and running. In a situation like that or similar to that, um, what can you suggest that could maybe help out or maybe, relinquish that from happening over and over and over? So I just wanted your opinion how, you know, dancers or organizers can better support one another, especially in a, situation like that. So just wanted your 2 cents.
Man, my 2 cents is pretty short. Um, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that that truly organize because of the love of the dance, the culture, um, the arts of salsa bachata. Um, and I'm one of those people. I'm quick to realize, oh, this is that type of party, right? So as an organizer, I would say doing it for the right reasons is always going to doing it for the right reasons on top of like some business acumen and some directions from mentors. You're always going to outlast, and you're always going to attract the right types of people that are going to support you no matter what. If you're doing it for the right reasons. Now, there's a lot of organizers that do it just for the profit, the benefit, and I almost feel as if like, if an organizer is, faking the, there's a lot of people that say, oh no, I do this because I love it and X, Y, and Z. I do it as a hobby. I do it for the community. There's a lot of those people that say that use community. Like, oh, I do it for the community. When it's like, really, you're just trying to line your pockets. And at that point, if you lose consistently as an organizer, then I would go back to the drawing board and start organizing and going back to why you're even doing it. Because if there's five socials going on one day, you know, everybody's gonna lose. So at that point, it's more so: are you willing to go into a support role and support a social that is actually doing it for the love of the community, for the love and the connection and the network of the people that can come in here and really do some good. And that's as an organizer perspective, if you're not doing it for the right reasons and just trying to line your pockets because bachata's hot right now or this type of genre is hot right now, I would suggest just go on board and really asking yourself why you're doing it, or you just want to make a business out of it. Now, from the consumer perspective, as a dancer, if I was stuck in that situation, and if I still wanted to go out, I would go out to the social that my values align with. I've never strayed away from that. I never strayed away from, if there's options, uh, where do I bring value, and then where do they bring value to me? So at the end of the day, it's like if it's a good fit for me, I'm a good fit for them, and it's like, this is where I want to be. There's a lot of places where they would say it's like a Latin night. They play salsa, bachata, and X, Y, and Z, and it's like people really just like to party. But then I'd rather go support a social at a studio where people actually go there. It's like to dance and to really interact with other dancers. So it's just more so like where are your values aligning. So if you're a party person cool, go out to the club where it's a Latin night. But if you're like a dancer that wants to want to get better and X, Y, and Z, interact with other dancers that you probably have more in common with, studio time, rehearsals, competitions, learning how to social dance, and weekly classes, then if that's more what you're aligned with, then I would support the social at the studio. But like I said, this is just a hypothetical situation. But as an organizer, I would suggest, if you are one of those people you know, that can be involved. Sometimes it's better to be a follower, in certain situations. Not everybody can be a chef, not everybody can be a chief. And that's what I've been seeing for the past 5 years of, a lot of people trying to become organizers and trying to do their own socials, trying to do their own congresses and X, Y, and Z. And that's why you see a lot of these organizers and a lot of these events not last or not going. The longevity of these events don't exist anymore because we have people in the wrong places. So I've always been told since I was little, at the end of the day, sometimes you have to become you have to stay a student until you're ready to become a master. And it's like a lot of people think that what masters do is easy, but in reality, what people have that 20 years and been successful is time. There's a formula that you can buy off people, but then there's a formula that you know created yourself because of how many L's you took, right? So people don't see the hard work and how much losses you've had to take in order to make your event successful. So it's more so on the organizer side. Just, um, sometimes if it's you, it's better just to be in that support role and to actually help the community grow versus just trying to line your pockets. And as a consumer, just go wherever your values are aligned.
Yeah, because, and I appreciate everything you're saying. That's super amazing. And you went into detail. You were very in depth about that. I think my concern here, my biggest concern is just that all of you guys are my friends, right? Because everyone is on my platform, right? I mean, I guess someone like me, is like, I find myself sometimes in a situation where, I'm in town. Let's say I come to Arizona, I've never been there or whatever, and you have an event at this particular event at this, I'm like, oh my God, I should never tell everyone that I'm in town because now I gotta, everyone is like, Russell, come here, come there, come there, which is good. But then again, is I say to myself, could you guys just like, come together for that one night, just but whatever. But then again, I mean, who am I to say anything? But that's just an example. But I'm just saying, I guess I just feel bad. I'll be truthful with you. Um, I feel bad because all of my friends, you guys, I mean, they all spend like tons of money to have these weekenders and what Congress and stuff, a lot of investment, a lot of money out of their pocket. And then Saturday night, only like four or five people show up, to the workshop or like to the class and to the social, and then it happens again. So it makes me think that what if it's a matter of just, it is what it is, or I don't know. But there's no right or wrong solution, and I got you. It's just that I mean, even though whatever happens tonight and I go live with somebody else, the same thing's gonna happen and over and over and over. But so I guess by talking about it, hopefully, um, how can I say this? Hopefully by making it aware
Right.
repetitively, it could maybe bring not a solution, but it could maybe bring something close to a solution, how things can better be collaborate. That's the key word, collaboration. And again, Ed, I'm kind of new in this business. I've only been doing this for under like 7 years, so and this platform is fairly new. But I guess it is what it is. But I just thought I should bring it up just to see, hopefully, what I say and you say and everyone else say. Maybe someone right now is listening to us, and maybe they're planning to do something different next Saturday or whatever. So that's the point of bringing this discussion up. So,
Right.
but I appreciate I appreciate what you just said.
Yes, sir.
So okay. Okay. Other stuff I wanted to talk to you about is and I know you kind of like I mean the intro you said a lot. All right, so Arizona, right? I've never been to Arizona. I would like to one day. Brandon, Odom was telling me I should just come down one day and hang out. And I don't know anyone. I'll just like make friends and whatever. So I have to come to Arizona. So compared to like big cities, like I don't know, Miami, New York, Atlanta, like how is it fair to ask you like how does the dance scene compare in Arizona to the rest of like major cities? And when I ask you this question, I'm asking you with the intention that how has it grown since you've noticed it? I think you're from Texas. I'm from, I live in Texas. So when you moved to Arizona and whatever, I'm sure things are much enhanced now than it was when you first moved, or there's growth. I mean, do you feel, the dance community in Arizona is like skyrocketing? Is it, I mean, if you
I,
don't mind me asking, again, I've never been there. I just heard about.
I, it's a fair question. I think there too. Like, let's talk about the biggest cities, in the United States: the LA's, the San Francisco's, the New York's, the Miami's, the Tampa's, the Chicago's, the Houston's. Like these are all cities that have been established, right? Phoenix has had a salsa scene for over 20 years now, and you know, this is just coming from history I've learned from the OGs here in Arizona and Phoenix. Honestly, I think within the past 3 years of Lawrence Garcia opening up through my dance studio, the level in Phoenix has has sky because we came we you said the word, we collaborated, and we created a space in Phoenix that the dancer that wants to grow only physically but mentally, and not only just to be a social dancer but to be an instructor, to be a performer, to be a competitor, whatever somebody wants to do. Like, we've created that space, and Phoenix really never had that space before. And I want to say the last time um, that we've experienced something like that in that nature was maybe 10 years ago with one of the other OGs from Phoenix, they were a lot there, and he was taking it to the next level too. And I think within the past three, because I've been here for a little minute, maybe five, dancing for 5, 6 years here. The last 3 years, we really focused on like building dancers that are going to go out and be really, really good social dancers, because that's what. And then from there they can make the decision whether or not they want to perform and want to take it to the next level and instruct the next Y and Z. But compared to other cities, I think even after the pandemic, it was a hard reset for a lot of cities. It was a hard reset, and it was a really hard reset for us too. And then picked we picked bootstraps and we went to work. And that's something, like I said, that Lawrence Garcia and myself did here in Phoenix. Like, we really, created a name for Phoenix when it comes to the circuit, the national recognition cities and instructors of where they're from, because we are the ones that are showing face, and showing our talents and our skills at congresses, teaching and performing. So I think within the past 3 years, we've really made a lot of noise when it comes to Phoenix, but just because of the collaboration. And I love that word. I love the word collaboration, because at the end of the day, one person can make a lot of impact, but you know once you link up with somebody with the same values, like I was saying earlier, once you align yourself with like-minded people, you can do a lot. You can make more impact than just one person. So I want to say the past 3 years, but we have the goal of being, just as established as these other cities, and these other cities are amazing when it comes to their social dancing and their depth of knowledge. So Phoenix is definitely on the way, and if I were to move anywhere else, um, I probably would want to come back to Phoenix, just because I just love what we built here.
Okay, that's great. And I want to hop on a plane right now. Forget my mom. Hop on a plane right now. Come to Arizona. Hang out with you and Brandon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I will come eventually. I just gotta, get a babysitter for my mom. But anyway, I want to talk to you about some of your work. Okay, I know you work at oh, okay. Sorry. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Okay, no, meter, But I wanna ask you about uh, the salsa bachata, the salsa. Okay, got you. The salsa bachata Congress, right? You work there. You work at salsa bachata. Salsa bachata. Is it Phoenix Congress? They call it Arizona Phoenix Congress,
Yeah,
right?
so basically, we had the 2 years. It was Phoenix Salsa, but the first it was Phoenix Salsa Bachata Festival. And then we grew. We had more growth when it came to the organization, when it came to participation. So um, it was, I think it was appropriate for us to call it a Congress. So it's the Phoenix Hot About the Congress, downtown Phoenix, first one ever in downtown Phoenix. But then the pandemic really, excuse me, the pandemic really it really pushed everything back when it came to events at the hotel. And I'm not the one to I don't like to switch my day 1 month this year, 1 month another year. So for me, if
Mhm.
it's not going to be something consistent, it's not worth going into that trouble of trying to set precedents on with 1 day and having dancers. I'll say, okay, this is going to be in July, this is going to be in August next year, this is going to be in September. Like if it for me, we haven't done it because the hotels out here, at least the ones we want to use, they haven't really been a lot consistent when it comes to their dates because they pushed a lot of the events back when it comes to corporate gigs and the relationship they already had when it comes to events at hotels. So for right now, what I did is I kind of just refocused my attention to what I call the Phoenix Salsa Bachata Oasis. So
Okay.
The Oasis social is my social. It's Que Candela social, and
Okay.
we bring the biggest artists in the United States, some even internationally, to Phoenix, Arizona for workshops, shows, social dancing. And the goal for the Oasis is really to create a space for dancers that can't travel from Phoenix, that don't have the funds for the ticket and the flight for an event, right? So my goal, my vision was, how can I create a Saturday at our in Phoenix, Arizona, in my studio? To make it more affordable. There is no travel cost. There is no hotel cost because they live here already, right? So it's more so, how can I bring the same headliners on a smaller scale to Phoenix and make it feel like a Saturday night?
Okay, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I want to ask something. I asked Dola, my friend Dola. He's also from Cooper, Dr. Bachata. When I interviewed him a couple months ago about his World Dance event, it was like the week before with him and I went live, and I said, Dola, okay, so I guess you and I can hang out in like 8 days, right? Because the next week and whatever from there, if he has his event. He's like, Russell, what are you talking about? It's gonna be over the next day after Sunday, so we're gonna hang out, do stuff. Come to Atlanta. I was in Atlanta. Like Russell, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, what? He's like, Russell, I gotta start planning for next year. I'm like, what? Who said that? I who? So when he said that, he wasn't joking. Okay, I was. He was like Russell. So I guess what I want to ask you, and I'd like to ask this question to educate me. Um, how much energy and effort, and you've seen many events and you've been part of it and you organize it and whatever. So you're entitled to definitely answer this question. Like how much effort, like no, that's yeah, okay. How much effort, like how much time is taken to actually plan like one of those, like a weekender event,
Right.
for example, right? I know it's
Um,
not like, like a month before, there's contract involved. Maybe there's people coming from overseas and the what ifs. This is what bugs me. The what ifs, what if somebody doesn't show up? Like how, how does it, I don't know, man. Like, how much effort and time does it take to actually put one of those together and have backups just in case,
yeah, I think honestly, the it's always going to be harder when you start. As you get better, your problems become easier to solve because of your experience. So when it comes to team, and when it comes to the actual like relationships you have with people, it becomes easier. Like when you're first starting up, yes, it is really hard, even to get in contact with people when it comes to booking artists, right? But as you network and as you even as a dancer, as you go out and you start showing your own talent, your skill, and your shows and your workshops, you start becoming friends with a lot of these artists that people want to book. So at the end of the day, it becomes easier because now they don't just see you as just another organizer reaching out. They see you as here that's trying to organize an event in their city. So it becomes easier, but it is a lot of effort and it is a lot of energy. Now, when you're trying to do it by yourself, of course, it's harder to organize. But whenever you collaborate and you partner with people that are going to support you, and you build a team that that understands their role within the organization, it's a smooth process, man. It's nothing but picking a day, booking artists, getting your marketing material ready, launching your marketing material, having uh, their stay, their flight, food ready, X, Y, and Z. But not only just having that, but you also have to make sure that you're partnering with your own community and making sure that there's going to be students that want to learn from these people or they're going to be interested in learning from these people. Not so from the organizer side, you have to make sure that you take care of the artists. And there's a lot of organizers that are always looking for the discount, always looking for the discount, always looking for the discount. And it's more so, you know, it's almost offensive to a lot of artists. Like, look, you know, you're trying to get a discount, but then you're trying to make X amount of money off of my services with X, Y, and Z. And you're going to end up profiting, 10 times the amount of whatever I discounted your the rate for. So it's like, as an organizer, you have to respect the artist and respect the art. And then as an organizer, you also have to make sure you're organizing an event well enough where the consumer knows that they will always want to come back. So as you it takes a lot of energy, time, but as you get better and as you build a team around you that understands, what the needs of the business are, what the needs of the artists are, what the needs of this, then which is a dancer, it becomes easier. It's clockwork.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the thing that scares me, like
Yeah.
if I ever decide to be an organizer, if I put something together or whatever, let's say Dola, like, well, I need your help, something. If, I'm just saying if, the magic word. What scares me the most is, what if, like, let's say one of the big shot stars from like Spain or Europe or Australia, right? They're scheduled to come, right? And I advertise it, Kupo's out to Bachata, months ago, weeks ago, like, God, these guys are going to be here, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, the night before, I don't know, COVID, that's a good example. Then they called me, like, well, so guess what? COVID came back, and it came back to Spain. I'm like, what? So what am I supposed to do? Am I gonna, I'm cool, man who loves the bachata. I can't go back and tell, and I can't find a stand-up to look like these people. So that's what scares me, bro. Like the curtains open and people show up and people are like, Roswell, are you BSing me? Like, we don't trust. And then then they're like, Roswell, you know what? You're full. So that's what scares me. Like just let's like delivering the big packet and the big packet doesn't come and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just an assistant
Right.
organizer, blame it. So but that takes a lot of talent. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of
It does.
organization. You don't have to go. I always thought you have to like major in market in 101 or business 102 to know these things, but
It's
it's part of
experience.
experience. I would say it's part of learning. I'm sure stuff like that happens that you've seen, and then it's just
It, you,
part of
you, you,
learning
you
from
learn how
your
to be
experience. So
adaptable. You learn because there's going to be artists that you book and all of a sudden something comes up and like sick. Hey, they got hurt. Hey, they call you like, hey, there's an event that wants to book me the same day. Is there another day that you can book me? I'm always gonna be super flexible with artists because I understand that if something happens to me and I'm booked, I wanna have enough trust that I can call the organizer and explain to them like, hey, like I'm hurt right now, my ankle, my wrist, or whenever my accident back in January, February, I had to make these calls like, hey, I've herniated this to my back and I'm not recovered yet. I'm not going to be able to make it to your event. And the organizer to be like, you know what? Get better. Hope you feel better. X, Y, and Z, heal up, and X, Y, and Z. So things happen, and as an organizer, you're gonna have to know, like, you're gonna have to figure out how to bounce back from these situations by maybe calling another artist last minute, This is why it's really important to network. Why it's really important to get to know artists, as people, as well as being as well as them being artists, but as people. So you can pick up the phone and say, hey, Roswell, I just had somebody cancel. I know this is super last minute. I have an event in 2 weeks. Can you come and teach, 2 hours of bachata? And you're like, yeah, you know what, man, I got you. I'm free. Let's go ahead and work that out. It's easy. So at the end of the day, it's more so just organizer isn't just let me pick a day and then let me like get a venue and get a DJ and like get it cracking. It's like it takes a lot because if all your ducks aren't in a row or like let's say there's a wrench that gets thrown into your plan, then the true organizer comes in. You have to adapt when you have to solve the problem. Whenever you're trying to set up for your congress at the hotel, and the hotel's saying, "Oh no, y'all can't set up because you don't have a permit." Like the true organizer in you is gonna figure out how to make it happen versus just like getting knocked down and staying on the ground. You got to learn how to get back up and keep rolling. That's what a true organizer is: knowing how to get out of those situations and making it work for the community, for the events.
Okay. I took some
I
notes
like
here while you were talking,
that.
just so you know. So, so
There you
now
go.
I know what to do. If one of you guys call me, like, Roswell, can you help
There
us
you go.
out? Sure.
There you
That's
go.
why we saw, sure. Um, let's see. Wow, this interview is going great, greater than I thought. I thought it would have been like one, two, three, but I enjoyed listening to it because you're so. I do legal work, so I'm used to like detail and people telling the story. You're one of those people, so
For
I'm
sure.
enjoy. I can't speak for everyone else, but
Thank
I love loving this, bro. So let me ask you something else. Okay. Um, when I was a kid, right? Um, and I kind of started this a few minutes ago by saying, when I was a kid, like I didn't really pursue the intentions to do what I'm doing now
you.
or dance or whatever, kind of like a late bloomer, and so my family raised me, especially my parents. They did a good job. They're like, be a law school doctor, or if not that, do a PhD, which I am, do my PhD with that. So, and it meant well because you know whose parents would like to see their kids suffer, you know what I'm saying? So that makes sense, right? Psychological. But deep down inside, Ed, I always had the passion to do something like this, go into television and stuff. And so I started to do that. I started to, I did my first television job in New York at ABC, and then I went into publishing and HR, and now social media. The point, I guess, what I'm trying to say is that I'm doing stuff now, which I should have done like when you're 18 or 17, but I'm doing it now. Almost 50. So now everyone knows my age. So I guess what I'm trying to say, kids, and your dad, let's say a child comes up to you, right? They're like, Mr. Amaya, guess what? I want to just like you, man. And I want, or I want to, or I want to do something similar. Go into dance as a profession or in the arts and whatever. So maybe they're listening to us talk now. Who knows? But when that time comes, and I'm sure it will, or probably did already. But what are you gonna say? What is your gonna be your
I mean,
response?
well, I'm not a dad. If I was, I have about 15 kids because we just started a kids program with Kid Candela. Yeah,
Oh
so
my God!
I feel like
You look like a dad.
I'm their dance
So this
dad.
is
Um, but no,
very cool.
this is what I'll tell this is what I'll tell a kid, and at the end of the day, it hit me maybe
Okay.
like 5 years ago, man. I'm a numbers type of guy. I love numbers. If you Google this right now, I think in 2020, the average age was like 77, 78. So for me to be
Okay.
31 and hopefully I make it to 100, 150, you know what I'm saying? I can make it as long as possible,
Okay.
I'm in my midlife right now. So if I'm not doing what I want to do right now, why would I wait till then? So at the end of the day, like if you have the time to do it now and the resources, do it now. If you have the time and not the resources, work to get the resources so you have the time right after. Because I mean, I was fortunate enough to go to school. You know, I got my bachelor's. I got to work. I worked right after college, and I just made some really, really smart decisions when it comes to my finances, and I was okay. I was doing well for myself, and I came from a low income, one parent household, you know, hood, a hood neighborhood basically. So where I'm at right now, and it's like what people used to tell me all the time is that you have to risk it, get the biscuit. So you never know how far you're gonna make it if you don't try. So if you don't ever shoot, you don't know if you're gonna make it. So like at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen is for you to fall. The best thing for you to do is to back up. So at the end of the day, if you're a kid and you're watching this right now, chase your dreams. Don't give up your daydream. Chase it. Be realistic when it comes to you have to eat. You have to support yourself. You don't want to be a leech of other people if you're fully capable of working and getting a job. But you have to make those sacrifices. You have to sacrifice your time during the day, go to work, make a living, X, Y, and Z. So at night, whenever you go to work 9 to 5, when you get off of work, maybe from 6 to midnight or to one a.m. It's in your dream too. Who said that we only have to do one thing? Who said that we can only go so far? Who said that we can only achieve so much? Nobody's making the rules except yourself. And it's like we're always looking at people and their accomplishments, and we're like, man, they're so lucky. It's not luck. You don't know how many times they got up. You don't know how many times they had to sacrifice maybe seeing their parents or spending time with their friends or going out to the mall, movies, and going out to socials and X, Y, and Z. It's like you don't know how hard, especially these artists that are in the circuit right now. That we, as a headliner group, people don't know how much more we dance than just the average dancer. And it's like these are the things that I would tell the kid is that you put your head down and you go to work. Hard work trumps everything. Luck is for people that have no action. You can have hope, but if you're not working, then it's only going to be an idea. You can dream, but if you don't want to chase your dreams, it's only going to be an idea. Like you have to work for it. And I'm a huge believer in as soon as you mind and you ask the universe, like, hey, you don't even ask. You say to the universe, hey, I want this to happen, and you're continuously and proactively working towards it. The universe is going to help you get there as soon as possible, within timing. And at the end of the day, if people fall and they quit, that's on them to stay down. But like I told kids, don't lose that passion, don't lose that ambition, because when a kid falls off a bike, they get right back on it. They ride it again. They fall, they get right back on it. But
Yeah.
as an adult, once we fall off a bike or something gets uncomfortable, we quit. We're like, oh no, this isn't for us. So at the end of the day, like it's almost as if your inner kid has to still be alive when it comes to things like doing something that you love, right? Because that's priceless, that's timeless, that's ageless, and that's what keeps us, that's what keeps our spirits happy, And I think, as a child, if I were to go back in time and tell myself, you know, hey, I advise you to do this, I would tell myself exactly what I just said. Don't give up chasing your dreams. Because at the end of the day, what you don't want to do is you're going to be 77, 80, 85, 95, and looking back and saying, dang, I should have done something when I was capable. I should have went harder when I had the ability to. I should have went harder when I didn't have these medical conditions. I should have been more passionate whenever I had the time and the opportunity to be, right. Like these are the things I would tell myself: take advantage of the now. Do not wait for the later. Take of the now.
Oh, you're not like my second dad. You are my second dad. You have that literally. You have that daddy fatherly type of advice. Most of the people that I interview, they're great. Don't get me wrong, but you're like, I don't know, I don't know, like I'm so drawn to what you're saying, and I think everyone else is. As if this is the reason I wanted to bring you and everyone else on live. I want everyone to know this. The reason I decided to do this live stuff
Right.
is for this reason. You got for example, everything that you said that cannot be in a posting or flyer. You know what I'm saying? So by you guys coming on here to talk about this, like from the heart, you know, I mean, that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. So, I mean, so what you just said, that example about the kids stuff that I asked, that's, where were you in 1972? I needed you, bro. I fell off the bike. Like, get your ass back
I
in.
was not,
No, I was kidding.
I wasn't
I
even
needed you,
thought of at
bro,
that
to back
time, you
me
know.
up. Uh, but that's great. I gotta ask you a quick question before we go into your events. Events coming up and stuff. I gotta ask you a quick question. I like your the little
Yeah, it's a
ring.
ring.
Is that a ring? Let me just take a closer look. Yeah, I like it. Tell us a little bit about the history of that. Why? I mean, why is it there? I mean, why not something else? Or like, it's beautiful. I like it. So there has to be some story
It's
behind it.
pretty.
Would you mind at
It's
least
a funny
telling
story,
us?
man. It's a funny story. So, when it comes to me dancing, my hands get sweaty, my fingers get sweaty, and I've lost so many rings because because of just like them slipping off. So nothing like deep behind it, but I keep them on my necklace because at the end of the day, like I really like my ring. My ring has my initial on it, but I just feel like it's different.
Oh,
You know, it's like a little golden nugget,
okay.
but it's different. Now, when it comes to like deep, like things that are deep that I wear on me are my tattoos. I don't really like I don't get tattoos just for like everybody else for like the fashion of it. Like everything that I've gotten when it comes to like my ink has something meaningful behind it. So like those are the things that truly have like deeper meanings to me. But like the jewelry is really just just to have it and whatnot.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, tattoo. I don't have a tattoo in my life. Everyone's telling me, what? You doing but cool photos of the tattoo? You have one tattoo, Roswell? I'm like, I think my mom would beat the crap out of me even if I still do. But so that's a new thing. My nephew has one. Your dad doesn't say anything. That's not fair. Your dad. Okay, okay. I know you have to go pretty soon. Okay. Tell us about some quick events that are coming up that you would
No,
like to share
we have one
share with
August
us,
5th. That's going to be in about
please.
3 weeks. We have headliners, Jessica Aquiles. We have Jessica Aquiles that lives in Tampa from Puerto Rico. Brian and Samantha from the Bay, San Francisco. Douglas Ortiz and Alejandra from were from Denver. They moved to Miami. They're all going to be in Phoenix. Just a quick weekender, 5 hours of workshops, shows, social. August 5th. And then we have our next huge Oasis. That's going to be October 14th, I believe. The lineup I will release after August 5th. But that one's going to be pretty big. We're gonna host a lot of studios are going to be in Phoenix, a lot of students. And that one's going to be the second to the last one that I have for the year. And then I'm going to have Oasis Q3 for the rest of Q3 in 2023 going into 2024. So those are the events I have. I have a social every Tuesday at Barcoa Agaveria in downtown Phoenix. That's every 7:30 to 9. I have a beginner class, either bachata or salsa. Then I have a social all the way to 11:30. Sometimes 1:45. It's a weeknight, so I don't really like to go too long. Every Wednesday we have class 7 to 9 with Que Canta Dance Company here in Phoenix, Arizona. We have beginner bachata and open level bachata. That class usually gets around 70 to 80 people on a weekly basis. At 7 to 9 on Wednesdays, and then we're usually traveling on the weekends. So we have Oscuro in Atlanta this weekend that we mentioned earlier with Fuquan and Candace with Fuego and Hielo. Next week we have Palm Springs with DJ Zonic for Escape the Festival. And then from there we have an event in Phoenix for the Colombian Festival in Phoenix. And then the first week of August, I am having the Phoenix Oasis that we just talked about. The second week of August, I am in Arkansas with Carlos and Susan for that festival. The third week, I have a personal trip. The fourth week, I have an event in Reno, Bachata. And then September, Houston, the first weekend. We're in San Jose the second weekend for the Nova Festival. So the first weekend is Houston BIG. Weekend is the Nova Festival in San Jose. The third week I have here in Phoenix. The fourth week we have LABKS with DJ Kenny in LA. The fifth weekend we have Denver Salsa Bachata with Tom and Nelson. And then I can just keep going and going and going. But every weekend we have something going on, Ross. And blessed to be working. Blessed that next year's calendar is halfway full right now. and we're doing really great things here in Phoenix, Arizona, with Kekanda Dance Co.
DCBX, so you're gonna be, I think I'm planning to, yeah, DCBX is in August. I think I'm gonna be there too. You mentioned, for Quan, if you see him this weekend or so, tell him I said hello.
Of
As
course,
you know, I interviewed him, not too long ago. He did
you
a
did,
great
you
job.
did.
I used to go to his Mambo event once a month in Atlanta, so I miss going to those events, you know?
Mambo Mayhem.
Um, yeah, man, my first impression of him, like when I came up to him, he didn't know who I was. I literally just like went up to this guy. I hugged him. Like, bro, I know you. His eyes open like, who are you? Bro, it's Roswell. Cool. Ross who? So that's how the relationship started out. But you gotta ask him about that.
One
It's
is
funny as
amazing,
hell.
and this is
He's a,
amazing. I love them.
he's a great guy, and I love his shoes. I love his shoes. Please tell him I love his shoes. Let's see what I was gonna ask you. All of these stuff that you do and stuff, it takes a lot of time and organization and stuff like. If you don't mind me asking, like, how do you? I mean, how do you keep track of everything? Like, are you like me, just go on memory and like, but there's so much you gotta do where you gotta be at a certain time. I mean, how do you manage? Time. It's a time management question, I guess. I'm asking.
No, that's
How
all
do
it
you
is.
manage track?
That's honest. That's honestly all it is. Like when it comes to what I have to do personally in the calendar, I look at my calendar so much I can tell you what's happening every weekend for the rest of the year. So like it just kind of understand where your calendar is in your head. But also when
Okay.
it comes to having so much to do in Phoenix, I have a great team of directors around me when it comes to the people that make this ship move are the directors that have been with me from the jump, and my goal is to get them to where I'm at and surpass me. And those people are Denny Wen, Rachel Price, Jessica Salazar, Jade Angeles, um, Roberto Tovar, Rosty Julio, Bob Nasamayaji, Jahara Rivera, Annabelle Fierra, Tony Wen. These are the people that really help me move and shake things in Phoenix. And as long as I take, they take care of me, and it's a symbiotic relationship where we're just feeding off each other, and we're trying to make a difference. We're trying to make an impact when it comes to what we do and how we do it, when we do it, who we do it for, and how we do it. Right. So it's more so when it comes to what I do here in Phoenix. It's it's solely because I have a really strong team behind me, really in front of me because I'm trying to push them, further than I've gotten, because they're really amazing dancers, really amazing people, and really amazing leaders, but really just being really good human beings, right? I think that's what's going to set set us apart and set them apart from a lot of other people that really don't think deep when it comes to how much impact they can have with what they're good at and what their gift is, right? So those are the people who make everything work for Kikandela. So when it comes to me, myself, and I have things that I have to do for myself and things that I have to do so I can feel accomplished and my personal goals. But when it comes for Phoenix, that's where Que Candela comes in. Is Eddie Peligro has only so much reach, but when you have a team of amazing people that are amazing leaders, that are also amazing dancers, you can create so much more impact, generational impact. Right? We're setting up the people that are coming up after us to go further than us, and I think that's something that we teach each other every day. Is that the man that understands that the man that plants the seed that understands that they will never enjoy shade, is a man that truly understands life. So it's like as long as we're setting up the next generation to be better than us and make better decisions than us, I think we're gonna live really fruitful lives.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Go ahead. That's great, bro. I want you to please come back and go live with me.
Of
Soon.
course.
We can talk about another event or more. And I really enjoy talking. I'm just not saying that because I'm saying it long, but like, as you know, it's like talking to my, it's like I'm listening to my second dad. The stuff that you say, it's like I feel it's from the heart. Sometimes when people talk, they just talk because That's what people want to hear. But I feel sensing from you, you're talking from here, like really in here, so I appreciate that.
Of
You
course,
know, I
that's all I want
appreciate
to do.
that. So I appreciate that. Okay, I know you got to go, but any last minute words or stuff you wanted to say?
Of
Those
course,
who
man.
was listening, last minute words or something before
No,
you
I
go?
do. I honestly feel like there's a lack of a lack of what you do in the community when it comes to the appreciation of people, and I think people do not understand nor switch their perspective enough to see that if we had more people like you that always shout it out, that always appreciate it, that always stay positive, you know, we would get further faster. Only because if we all took a step back and helped each other do something, it would leave us feeling a little bit more positive and a little bit more able and enabled to help somebody else. And what you do, Ross, is that like you are always setting that bar and setting that domino effect every week whenever you're shouting out, hey, we want to shout out this person, this artist, this event. And if more people were to, and everybody has the perspective, they just haven't shifted it in the way where I believe that appreciation leads to more greatness, and appropriation leads to more commercialism and almost like damaging to any type of art or culture. So whenever you shout people out, it always brings something in my heart where like, man, like I'm so much more open minded to help somebody else do something, or it switches my perspective where if I have to go to rehearsal, I go to rehearsal with an even a more open mind. Like a positive change can ripple, and it's more so if people aren't in that line of perspective to see positivity, then it's almost like saddening. So especially when we have something as fragile as bachata culture or salsa culture, and then we're talking about it on one, on two, what do you dance, do you essential or traditional, da, da. And it's like we're always looking for the negative, and it's like if we just focused on the appreciation of what we do and how we do it, we would really get to understand that what we do as a dance community already, 80% of the world can't do what we do. And I think that's something to brag about. It's like we do this every single day, every single weekend, but we always let the negativity of differences get in our way to actually see the positive, and not only just the positive that we see, but the positive that we can do. So that's the only thing that I will say right now as I close. Thank you, Roswell, for what you're doing for the community, what you're doing with your platform, what you're spreading, the memories, like the 2 minute video that we saw. It is memories of people and good times, positive vibes that you've had with yourself, with your friends, with family and whatnot. It's like that's what it's all about, man. When we're on our deathbed, bro, we're not gonna be remembering all the negative stuff, man. We're gonna be remembering all the good stuff and all the fun times that we wish lasted longer. You know. So hopefully people will start understanding that soon, sooner than later, so they can start enjoying life more. You know?
Bro, man, I want to hug you right now. If this was not like a social media, I would like reach out and just like grab you and just look at my hand, they're sweating, grab you. I never told anyone, I never told other people this. Like, no, imagine if I told Wendy I'm going to come grab you. Rico's like, what? No, I'm just kidding. You ain't grabbing that, Ross. No, but bro, you're the type of person. I know you gotta go, but seriously, from the I'm saying this so everyone knows this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much because it's so real. I mean, it's so, and I know the stuff that I asked you was it's not a typical interview question, but you everything's from the heart, and I think everyone. I speak on behalf of everyone. We feel your and we feel everything that you said. You know what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying? We
Yes, sir.
feel it. Okay, I know you got to go. Okay, so hopefully, after the summer, I come back down south and I can, maybe run into you somewhere or see you, or whenever there's a big event,
Yes, sir.
maybe in Georgia or Florida, whatever.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me know and I'll come. You know,
Yes, sir.
you know. And it was a pleasure speaking with you. And please feel free to continue sharing your postings on our
Yes, sir.
webpage.
Yes, sir.
And have a good weekend.
You as well, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.